Rick the mycologist, the Asbury Circle.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy again, Ricky D, and the family. Drinking some tea, some throat coat for all you singers and speakers out there. I've got no notes. This is all from the last little fucking skit I did. This one's for addicts only, so don't listen to Uncle Ricky on this one. All nieces, nephews, my friends' children. You want to turn this off. What I also want to talk about is our relationship with substances. This is actually a borrowed point of view because I never thought of it this way. And I did take this from Hamilton Morris, and it's more about our relationship with substances than it is about demonizing one thing. Because I went my whole life without really being extreme with anything. I mean, through my 20s, even when we were with the band, I was basically basically my drug of choice was endorphins. I was like an endurance athlete who wrote songs and fronted the band. And then at night I'd smoke a little weed, and I didn't seem to have a bad relationship with it until I started to dabble in things that were a little more addictive. And that's why when I broke my ankle, I really got wrapped up. And it wasn't just, it was where I was at the same time. Maybe if I broke my ankle and, you know, it was at a different point of my life, then maybe I wouldn't have got so wrapped up in you know, medicating how I was feeling. So anyway, that led me on to the substance that many use that we don't hear about, which is the subs, the buprenorphine, which can save a life. If somebody is on the street, if somebody's life has been completely if you spun out of control because of addiction, this substance can get you back on track, but it really only keeps the addiction alive in the brain to where you're still dependent on this stuff every day. And it was so important for me because that was a half measure, where instead of just getting totally clean and really clearing out my head, I took a half measure and I went on maintenance, and that's exactly what it is. It's maintenance. You maintain the addiction. It can save lives from people who party hardy and, you know, mix some shit and die. There's some girl I know who just died last week. Totally accidental. She thought she was doing coke. She took a fucking Xanax, right? But there was fentanyl in the cocaine. She took a Xanax. She's no longer with us. She probably thought she was taking something that was definitely not deadly. And she's not here. So we all have to be very responsible. So, like I said, this is a borrowed point of view, but I was already thinking this way and so if I do agree with the point of view, it's because it rings true deep inside me already, and it has to do with my relationship with people, my relationship with substances, my relationship with my guitar has changed. You know what I mean? One day I saw my guitar crying, metaphorically, and saying, I never did you dirty, Ricky. Our relationship was always good. And I was like, Sophia, you're right. You got a point of view. You have a point. Let's spend some time together. So I really do have a good relationship with the guitar. My relationship with my body is better. My relationship with my friends is better. My relationship with substances is better. So for some people, complete abstinence might be the best way. But I do know that people, when they abstain and they're addictive anyway, they're going to just become addicted to something else. Hopefully it's something that's positive or constructive. But the future is definitely like the war on drugs is ending. And it's going to force us to be more responsible. And we have to like mature in a way, emotionally mature, and I think the psychedelics come in here. It's an emotional maturity that is absolutely necessary for us to get through this crazy fucking shit we're in now. And I think you don't want to know what my conspiracy theories are, because what the fuck do I know? I don't have enough facts in each area to like really come to a good conclusion, but I can sense that like big pharma, the psychedelic renaissance is coming, So, that's one way to look at it, but there's a lot of ways to look at it. There's like big tech, centralized power. So all you gotta do is like look at what's happening and then know that there's fucking deeper levels and rabbit holes that you can go down forever. So I backed out of the rabbit hole. I'm sitting right here on my stool, and my thing is, people are always gonna have a relationship or a need to sever their consciousness. Sleep does it every day. You wake, and if you sleep good, you'll feel like it's a brand new day. If you sleep bad, you feel like, it's just an extension of yesterday. So we're going to always need to sever our consciousness. We're always going to need to obliterate our ego somehow. And what we don't have, we have alcohol, is our social lubricant. I'm not against alcohol, because I don't want to be against anything. But for me, I've gone through periods where it's like, man, I wish I drank, because if I drank, then I would have more of a social life. But because that's what everybody does. We don't have any alternatives. So we need alternatives. And I don't know how long it's going to take, but we need more than liquor to go out. We need more than liquor and blow to go out and party with, because we don't need to be drunk and yapping all the time. I think drunk talk is some of the worst conversations on the planet. You don't get nowhere, you don't feel real good the next day. It's not like, hey man, fucking Frankie was really talking some really great shit last night. That usually never happens when you're drunk, maybe a little drink. So that's the way it is. We need new social lubricants. And that's where we're all gonna like have a new world. We're all gonna work and live in a different way. We're gonna be able to hang out with your friends who do what you do. And it's no big deal. So again, it's our relationship with everything. If I demonize a certain drug, then that means I'm speaking against everybody who uses that drug. And a lot of my best friends are alcoholics, but I don't see them a lot because I'm not an alcoholic. I fall in the addict range. But my relationship with substance has been good recently. And so I found a balance, and I think, I believe that is our next step, is to say, I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for my life, and it's the opposite of being a victim, whether it's a victim of addiction. I'm a victim of my genes. I'm a victim of my past. I'm a victim of my socio-economical background. I'm a victim of the scumbags who did me dirty back when I had one chance to fucking shoot for the stars. And my whole life up until that point was in the hands of this knucklehead. You know what I mean? And that's all victim shit. And I'm still alive. And I'm trying my best to take responsibility for everything I think, for everything I say, everything I drink, everything I eat, everything I do. So I don't believe that abstinence is the only way that we're going to fucking get this shit under control. I think it's integrating it into society. And I know it's going to be harder than Portugal, because Portugal's small, but it worked. And it's going to take time because we're a large nation. And I think by starting with that, we'll become a community again. I really believe that's a huge component. Get back to the arts. It's, once again, it's something that is borrowed, but it was food for thought. Was, why study consciousness through science? Because, science is the tool in where we find facts, under the scientific method. We use the scientific method that's scrutinized and tested and retested, and so we all look to science for the answers. But we also find other truths. There's other ways of knowing things, and that's through philosophy, that's through music, that's through community. We have other ways of knowing and sensing and connecting, and we need the facts, because the facts are what's going to save us in the end. Especially when you're under scrutiny, it's facts. But between all that shit, we have our senses. And so, once again, like in my new song I talk about, let's come back to our senses, get out of our heads, let's feel a little bit. And that's the beauty of music. Is I probably, I'm not a great speaker. I think in notes better than I think in words. So what does this have to do with substances? I think it's through the substances, the right substances or the fitting substances, and our relationships with them, that we could all loosen up, hang out again, not be afraid of one another, let go of our differences, and look at what we all have in common. As different as we are, let's figure out how the fuck what makes us relate. How do we relate? And so that word relate also means relationship. So through relating with one another, we also relate. I can relate with this. I can relate with you guys. I can relate with that. You might not relate with me, but it's our relationships with everything. We only got so much time on the planet. We're in a crazy time here, and I do agree with Hamilton that we shouldn't demonize things. For me, I'm not an alcohol dude, and for me, I shouldn't go anywhere near an opiate, because opiates tend to fucking take over me. So that's my responsibility. There's other stuff. I've never had a fucking bad relationship with marijuana. I've never had a bad relationship with cocaine, even though I try and stay away from cocaine. I do stay away from cocaine. I never had a bad relationship with any substance, except for nicotine and the opiates. All the rest have been all right with me, and it's up to me to have a good relationship. It sounds far out and crazy, but it's the truth. Because if everything was free and we were able to use whatever we needed to for a particular cause or reason, whether it helps you with this, that, and the third, physical, mental, then it would be up to us. And there would be no more blaming, and it would be a lot easier to support one another if we just had a little support with our own responsibility and our relationship with everything. And I think, I don't know if you guys got anything out of that. I might have fucking took you for a spin. We'll take another shot. Your boy Ricky D. Asbury Circle, relationships. This is for addicts only. Don't listen to Uncle Ricky. Well, you don't know what he's talking about. Peace. So this is my outro, brand new song. I don't even have a fucking verse to it, and this is how you write a jammy. Right?
Do it.
It's called I Found a Way.